Did you know that you could get blacklisted from an airline simply for traveling with your 3 young children and having to breastfeed your youngest child? Right? The audacity of these donuts to do that. Who would do that? Well, according to Sierra Dallas, that's exactly what happened to her 2 years ago on Hawaiian Airlines, and the reason that she ended up blacklisted from ever flying with them again. So you might be asking yourself, 2 years ago, why is it that I am just now hearing of this outrageous behavior? Well, according to this momfluencer, when they approached the check-in counter at the airport, that's when she found out that she was blacklisted from the airline, to their surprise. So what did she do? Naturally, this influencer decided to make content out of it. Gotta do that. Gotta get our bag. And she jumped on and filmed a "that was rude" TikTok, which is, of course, it's trending. She has a bit of a following. It went somewhat viral, hitting over 1 million views with people fiending for more information.
That was rude. That was pretty fucking rude.
What happened? What did you do? Because there's no way that you would get blacklisted for breastfeeding your infant, which is how she tried to spin it. So not long after she released this viral trending video, did she release her story time. 8.5 minutes of entitlement, where she spills the tea on all the turbulence that she caused. So today we are going to dive into the dramatic story time of how Sierra and her family, apparently, all of them, ended up on the no-fly list. I want to unpack with you guys whether or not she was in the wrong or the airline is in the wrong. Spoiler alert, this is true Clout goblin behavior through and through. It was a calculated, opportunistic bid for attention versus this whole living in victim mentality of a mom having a bad day that she so hard tried to spin it. And please share your thoughts throughout the video. Do you agree with the airline? Do you agree with Sierra and that they were out of line? And did your opinion change throughout? Because I'm telling you, mine certainly did. So let's go, guys. But first, before we get into Sierra's entitled story time, hey guys, and welcome back to DeInfluenced. I'm Sasha, and here is where I dive into the messy world of influencer culture to call them out for their crappy behaviors. So if that sounds like something you're into, please don't forget to like this video for more content like this and subscribe. And also, please ring that bell because YouTube has been doing me super dirty with not notifying people of uploads lately. So that would be much appreciated. Make sure that it's set to all, not just some, not just popular, all. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's start talking about Sierra Dallas. First, who is she? So as I said, Sierra Dallas is an influencer, a mommy-fluencer, and from what I can gather on her Instagram, which has over 2 million people on Insta. Isn't that impressive? Like, props, girl, because building an Insta following is hard, which I also have an Instagram if you guys want to go follow me over there. It's the same name. And Sierra's TikTok, she tends to share a lot of food recipes, I was getting some health and wellness vibes, you know, the mommy-fluencer to getting fit mom pipeline, that sort of stuff. A little bit of day in the lives and a little bit of this and that as well peppered throughout, but definitely the bulk of her content is sharing recipes on the day-to-day. And as I said earlier, recently she popped across my feed for sharing her story time of how she got blacklisted from Hawaiian Airlines. And the way she had spun it had me wondering what her true motives were here, because it's 2 years after this incident happened. And of course, she jumped on the viral trend allegedly because she just found out that she was blacklisted, which there's a detail later on in her story time that I want you guys to pay attention to, because she should have known that she was blacklisted, right? That doesn't just magically happen. And so I went to the comment section, and the way she was spinning it in that first viral video, she was saying things like, yeah, it was because I was breastfeeding my kid. Yeah, they weren't willing to accommodate me. And obviously, when you tease something like that, especially the way she did, accusing them of blacklisting her for breastfeeding her young child, that's going to get a lot of attention, and that's going to have people fiending for the rest of the story, which is exactly what happened. It sparked outrage. There's no way, that's awful, I'm so sorry, mama, that's so stressful. But there were some skeptics piping in, especially some flight attendants saying, we're missing half the story here, because there's no way that you got kicked off for breastfeeding your infant. And of course, her teasing the whole time, don't worry, there's a story time coming soon, guys. So before we get into her story time and her recounting of everything, I want you to question why the delayed drama drop. Well, as we've discussed in recent videos, what's trending on TikTok right now? It's rage bait, but it's also story times. If you are able to hook an audience with a crazy story time and take them on this journey where they can be invested in something, even if it's for 5 minutes, that is what is hitting the algorithm right now. And those types of story times can be worth millions of dollars depending on how many parts there are and how hooked and engaged viewers remain. Now, the sketchy part in all of this is that she waited 2 years to share this story. Now, arguably, she just found out that she was blacklisted when she walked up to the counter to check in for her Hawaiian flight. Which, side note, could you imagine if that happened to like a normal person like you or me, walking up and it's like, oh, by the way, you can't fly on this plane when you just spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to go on vacation? Oh, I would straight crash out, guys. I would not be okay. I mean, I am a very painfully anxious rule follower who doesn't like face-to-face confrontation. I know it's funny because like I confront people on the internet. So I would make sure to never be in a situation where I would get blacklisted or something would escalate to the point of that. I would just be compliant, be like, yes, ma'am, yes, I'm on my way. I'm going to just go do whatever you say because common sense, I don't know, safety, I don't know, whatever. But arguably, she just found out. And again, keep that in the back of your mind. So maybe she did just find out that she was blacklisted and did that was rude. But the way she spun it was a calculated move to elicit rage in people, rage baiting, because saying that you got blacklisted from flying on an airline because you were breastfeeding your infant is a surefire way to elicit rage in people and hook people and have them want the rest of the story time. So of course that went viral and people are asking for the story times. And not only this, but now she is also tagging Hawaiian Airlines in it, which she's living in victim mindset, victim mentality, thinking that she was done dirty. Wild behaviors here. But she's tagging them, and in my opinion, that is some next level attention seeking behavior, and likely, guarantee it, she is fishing for free flights and an apology from Hawaiian Airlines and like free flights for life or something silly like that for this whole inconvenient, awful customer service experience. That's the vibes I get dropping this storyline 2 years later and also tagging Hawaiian Airlines in it now. 2 years later. Mind you, 2 years ago, because I went back on her Instagram, there was no mention of this awful, egregious, horrible event. There's no mention of it. There was a couple pictures in Hawaii and stuff, but other than that, it was never brought up. So if it was this dramatic, this enraging, you'd think it would have been talked about before now versus just hopping on a viral trend. This was 100% an opportunistic move to create drama that she caused and hit the algorithm that's trending right now. That's all this was. While simultaneously dragging an airline's reputation through the mud. I don't know. The whole thing. The whole Clout goblin. Guys, goblin right here. This girl, goblin. She's wearing green too. So, I mean, if the shoe fits or shirt fits, which her shirt doesn't fit because I can see her belly. So, I mean, I guess she's not a goblin. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me today. She's creating and curating this narrative that she was done so wrong to hit the algorithm to go trending on TikTok to make money or for clout. Maybe it's for the attention, for the, oh my God, mama, you're such a good mom. It's okay. You were just tending to your baby. For that kind of vibe. I don't know why. Let me know down below your thoughts on her motives of sharing this story 2 years later. Maybe wait to hear the story. I don't know, but something sus. You know, it feels like a way to jump on a viral moment versus spreading awareness to other moms, which is something that she tries to spin as well. It's always about spreading awareness. And it just reeks of exploiting a viral moment. That's all it is, a viral trend, a viral moment. And her tagging the airline is not only really petty, but it's also an attempt to rally her followers against them and have the airline come to the comments and see, oh yeah, people are really mad and upset about this, which, spoiler alert, the comment section did not go the way she intended it to go. Not at all. So now we're going to go ahead and watch her story time video, and we're going to break down those really gross entitlement moments. From what I can see, there's 4 or 5 big moments where she's just like out of touch and hella entitled. See if you can pick up on any more and let me know down below. And be prepared, guys. The influencer accent is strong here. It's strong, and every word, for those with misophonia, what is it? Mouth sound issues. Every sentence begins with a, which isn't that a sign of a dry mouth, which is also a sign of being deceptive and a stress response. So her viral moment got 1.2 million views, but this story time only got 123.4 thousand views. So it obviously didn't perform the way she was hoping it to perform. And then she commented on it 2 more times, replying to other people's comments, which I haven't seen yet. So if we have time, we're going to go take a peek at those, because it's just going to be more justifying crap, right?
All right, here's the story on how I apparently got banned and on the no-fly list with Hawaiian Airlines. All right, so before I start, it's a little exhausting and very inconsistent on Hawaiian Airlines' part, in my opinion. But here's Callum, he's one, and here's Troy. This is the day that we were banned from Hawaiian Airlines. So basically on the way from LAX to Kauai, we had no issues, not a single issue. Like, it was a perfect flight. We had a great time in Kauai, and on the way back, the night before leaving to go from Kauai back to LAX, I noticed my boys were like pulling on their ears, like they were getting an ear infection, probably from water play, which is like really common. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like, I could totally tell, like, you could see me here, like I'm looking a little tired, just glossy eyes. Everyone's been in the sun. It was a long, great trip. Love Kauai, one of my very favorite places. They both wanted mommy. Like, I think kids just always want mommy, right? Now getting into
So before we even go any further, that's the first point of contention that a lot of people had, was the fact that she brought her 1-year-old on a plane with an ear infection that was developing. If anyone's ever had an ear infection, you know they are painful. So incredibly painful. But on top of that, flying with an ear infection is not only excruciatingly painful, which I have one Reddit user, I believe, saying that they once flew with an ear infection and it was the most excruciating pain they've ever felt and couldn't imagine subjecting a 1-year-old to it. But 2, you can actually rupture the eardrum, which is a pain that is insufferable, especially for an infant. So first red flag, girl, why did you get on a freaking plane with a child who had an ear infection? And she said on the last day they noticed. Fair enough. As soon as you noticed, or the day before, I already can't remember what she said because it's all BS. But you knew that they were getting ear infections. Why not delay your flight? She's an influencer. She has over 2.3 mil on TikTok. They are not hurting for cash. I don't know anything other than that, but I know that having that many followers on a social media platform makes you bank, especially on Instagram. There's no reason that they couldn't take this kid to urgent care to get him some meds. Even just a little bit of Tylenol to get through the flight probably wouldn't have helped, but good God, he's already in pain and you're going to put him in a tin can and pressurize it? Like, oh my God. Okay. That's the first point that people are like, WTF. Like, I know it's inconvenient, but why would you fly with a kid with an ear infection? Okay, we're not even in the entitlement. We're just in the irresponsible part, negligent part.
the nitty-gritty. So there were 8 adults and 3 kids. We had booked.
Okay, there it is. 8 adults and 3 kids. Important piece of information throughout all of this. 8 adults, 3 children.
A seat for my daughter because she was 3 years old. He's 1 and he's 8 months. So basically, we have booked a seat for one of our kids and brought the car seat on, and that was just more of a hassle. So we were like, you know what, let's just do infants. They can sit on our lap because there's 8 adults, and my kids usually have no problem going with anyone. This one is breastfeeding. This one is 1 year old and not breastfeeding. So for the first half of the flight on the
1 year old. 1 is not plural. So it's not 1 years old, it's 1 year old, just saying.
back home, Troy was sitting on my godmom, who was in the row right adjacent from us, like right behind across, and she was sitting in the aisle. They were holding him, no problem, but he had woken up and he was crying, and he was hungry. And I was holding Callum. Callum kept pulling on his ears and just like crying and saying like his ears hurt, his ears hurt. We were already
probably in excruciating pain,
assuming he was getting an ear infection, and then go on a plane after that is like just horrible, right? It hurts so
horrible. It hurts so bad, yet you literally admitted that you willfully tortured your child for a plane ride. Good.
bad. So my godmom hands over Troy, and I start breastfeeding him. I'm in the aisle seat, and Callum is on my lap. I'm holding both, which apparently I'm not allowed to do. And I'm like, okay, well, all I need to do is feed my baby for like 20-ish minutes. Like, just give me 20 minutes. So the flight attendant comes up and he's like, you have 5 people in a row and there's only 4 masks. And I was like, okay, like, can I just feed my baby real quick? Like, I'm trying to pass this one off. He doesn't want to go anyone. He's like screaming and crying because he just wants mommy. He's not feeling 100%. And I'm just trying to keep the peace on the plane, right? Like, people are watching movies. People are reading books. People are trying to nap. So please, like, just give me 20 minutes. I'm already stressed out. I have 2 crying babies. Like, please. Flight attendant wasn't having it. He was like harassing me, just kept staring at me. And I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to feed my baby. Like, literally give me 20 minutes. Just like turn around. So I'm non-compliant.
So that is the first entitlement red flag that we've come across, assuming that the rules don't apply to you just because you're a mother of young or breastfeeding children. Now, I 100% am there with how chaotic and stressful and overstimulated this woman was during this moment. 100% empathetic to that. However, it is not the flight attendant's fault that your children are cranky. It is not their responsibility to fix that situation. It is their responsibility to keep everyone on the plane safe. Now, the issue is they had 5 people in their row. The babies, her husband, and their daughter, okay? That is the non-compliance. There are only 4 oxygen masks that drop per row. So you can't have 2 infants in lap. And this is very common. A lot of people were commenting, well, yeah, I tried to book and I have twins and they put us in separate rows, and I tried to book and I had one and we had to sit here and they moved my husband here with the toddler, and which arguably, yes, the airline could have suggested that they move somewhere or been a little bit more accommodating. Sure, fine. But the fact of the matter is they were trying to bend the rules and remain non-compliant. She could have handed off the toddler. Yeah, he would have been screaming. Yeah, it would have been miserable for the 20 minutes. But feed your baby. Everybody stays safe. And done. For the people in her comment section who are actually saying, oh, it's just 20 minutes. Oh, it's that is survivor's bias. And it's not okay. It's the same thing with, I did this with my baby when they were young and they're perfectly fine. And it's a toxic, I want to say arguably primitive form of thinking. It doesn't allow for growth as humans. Just because more than likely something isn't going to happen in those 20 minutes. If something were to happen, which baby are you going to choose, Sierra? I noticed that you weren't willing to answer that question. That's the safety concern. Which kid are you going to choose? Because that is what it comes down to at the end of the day if there is an emergency. And there was literally someone in her comment section being like, if something were to happen, I'm sure she would just pass off the baby and everyone would be safe and have oxygen. Are you 12? That person must have been 12. So I'm really glad for the flight attendants who came in and educated this person that it takes 20 to 30 seconds after depressurization at that level to pass out. 20 to 30 seconds. The time it would take to hand the baby off, that person would already be passing out. And you think that if a cabin decides to depressurize, if a door falls off, if something happens, you think that people would be in the frame of mind not panicking enough to hand off a baby safely? Really? Rules are rules for a reason. The flight attendants can lose their jobs if they don't tell you that you have to comply to these safety rules. It's federal law. Okay, let's continue.
Like I said, on the way there, we did not know any of this. No issues. No flight attendant came up to us. Honestly, they probably have kids, so they probably were like, she's passing that baby around this airplane, like, let her feed the baby and be done with it, you know? I'll have to go through my diary and go through, like, what the name of the flight attendant was. That was just, like, literally harassing me, so...
Oh my gosh, the comment I had to go through my diary sent me, like, same, hard same. I have to go through the diary for the name of that. Why? So you can trash him and throw him under the bus? Did you also like her gay scent that she put on when she started talking about him? We all know, and it has an undertone of anti-LGBTQ. We see through your facade. Well, a lot of people do. I mean, she's got 2.3 mil on Insta, so.
Like I said earlier, I was in the aisle while he was like, you can't have 5 people. So now I'm trying to pry Callum off of me, give him to someone else that's part of our party. And he was just screaming, just like, I want mommy. I felt like I was like having to give up my child or something. Like, that's what the screams felt like. And I'm breastfeeding him. My other daughter, she's 3 years old. She had her own seat. She was like in the window seat. So I'm no longer in the aisle. I'm in the middle, and my husband's sitting in the aisle now because you can't have 5 people in a seat. So he was making sure Callum wasn't trying to climb over because Callum was trying to get to mommy in the middle seat. Well, now Callum can't be in the aisle, and I couldn't go to the bathroom because I had 2 infants with me, and that was not allowed either. So I was like, really, like, what am I supposed to do in this position? And I'm not feeling like I'm entitled or everyone should give me empathy or sympathy, but like, it's called customer service. Like, I've worked in customer service like all my life before doing social media, and I've done tons of training. I also have a degree in communications. Like, let's get customer service down, right? So I like the llama approach: listen, acknowledge, make a statement, ask a question.
Display number 2 of entitlement. I don't mean to be entitled. Like, I'm not entitled or anything, but like, it's called customer service. Like, I worked customer service for like a long time before I did like this influencer stuff, and like, let's get customer service down. Come on, girl. First of all, flight attendants, number 1 and only priority is the safety of everyone on board that plane. It is a huge weight that they carry on their shoulders every time they go to work. So for you to sit there and be like, your customer service was off, they don't care about customer service. This isn't a customer service job. It is a safety enforcing job. And you were not being safe. Having 2 kids in lap is not safe. Now, a lot of people are also asking, well, why the didn't your husband step up? Like, he could have definitely stepped up. Why didn't he switch seats with someone else instead of just switching to the aisle seat? Like, switch with godmom and take Callum with you. Are you serious right now? These arguments, there's such fallacies. All of them.
No manager came up to me and was like, ma'am, we did already tell you that you can't have 5 in a seat or in a row. There's only 4 masks. No one came up to me like that. It was all sass. And I felt like this guy like literally waited his entire life to come up to someone and be like, you can't have 5 people in a seat. No. So I would have preferred like someone, and it would have been way more receptive. Like, ma'am, can we help you? Can we move you somewhere? Is there somewhere like that we can make you feel comfortable? Like, nothing. No one came up to me. And that's why I was even more upset. So anyways, like,
not their job. Their job is to make sure you know the rules of the airplane and enforce the safety rules of the airplane. They came up to you. They gave you a warning. They had to come back up to you, give you another warning after making it clear you can't have 5 people in a row, and you still refuse to listen. But the airline's at fault. The flight attendants are at fault here.
Currently on the fourth time, I'm telling you, the guy was staring at me. It was like the entire time. He just walked over and threw a little piece of paper. It was like this big, threw a piece of paper with highlighted something, and then threw it at my husband. And my husband literally like did not look at it. He just crinkled it up and was like, this is some BS. So I open it.
I love the dramatics here. He came over and he threw it at my husband. No, he didn't. He came over, probably tried to hand it to your husband, who was belligerent and refusing to take it. So he had to, give it to your husband, which your husband's immediate response was to crumple it up and say, this is bullshit. Makes me think that you guys weren't this whole, oh, please, just give me 20 minutes, please. There was no solution on their ends trying to be made either. There is a whole other half of the story here that they're not telling. And their behaviors do not scream, got kicked off for no reason. They got blacklisted. That's not just because she was feeding her baby and her other kid was screaming.
And I'm not even joking. So I open it, it's like $10,000 fine highlighted. So I'm like, this is so upsetting. Like, I'm just trying to feed my child and give him back to my godmom who's sitting adjacent from us. Like, I'm not confrontational. I'm not yelling. No one has their cell phones out. No one's making a big scene. If anything, other people around us are like, I can't believe the way that they're treating you. Like, that's actually pretty crazy. Like, it was wild. I felt like this guy had it out for me. And
I really want to talk to this flight attendant or someone on this flight. If someone remembers this incident and it happens across this viral moment and my video, please reach out to me because I want to know the other side. Don't you guys? There is a whole half of context that we are completely missing.
I don't even know what I did to him. So I asked for a manager, and apparently they don't have like...
So I asked for a manager. Listen, Linda. Or is she a Karen? I don't even know anymore. Also, I was thinking we need a Karen for influencer standards. So what are we going to call them? I don't know. Comment me your suggestions of what we're going to call those Karens that are influencers. You know them. The one, I'm an influencer. You know them. Maybe they already have a name. She asked to talk to a manager. The way that I facepalmed myself when I heard her say those words, can I talk to a manager? That tells you all you need to know about the type of person she is. I'm sure she's ordered a drink at a restaurant, asked for 6 ice cubes, and got 7 ice cubes and complained and got a free meal out of it. That's how ridiculous this person's entitlement is. No, you can't have 5 people. If an emergency were to happen, someone is going to die. Can I speak to a manager?
Managerial position on the flight, but they have a higher up flight attendant. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Just like, is there any way that I could talk to someone? So she's working first class, so I had to wait for her. And I was like, okay, well, I have 2 hours left on this flight. Like, I'm happy to wait, no problemo. So finally, when she was ready to talk, we went to the back of the airplane, and I just started bawling.
Did you have your kids with you? Both kids. One on each hip, right? At the back of the airplane? Because you couldn't hand either of the kids off. So you're at the back of the airplane talking and bawling with both kids in your arms. Gosh, that really sucks. A lot. 20 minutes ago, she got struck with non-compliance, but can hand off her kids and go to the back of the plane to complain to a manager? Are you kidding? This has to be a joke. She has to know that this is satirical. It's satire. It has to be. You literally caused a huge scene, got hit with a fine, which I wonder if they did get fined because the $10,000 were just blacklisted. It's just, she caused this big scene and then still was able to hand her kids off and go to the back of the plane. So it wasn't a problem now to hand off your 1-year-old when you're going to complain about someone else's behavior to make someone else feel like shit or get someone else in trouble or make yourself feel like the victim. It's so gross.
Mind you, I'm 8 months postpartum. I'm breastfeeding. My hormones are all over. I have 2 crying babies. I'm just trying to feed this one and hand him back to someone. That was it. This one's making like just crying and crying because his ears hurt. They're both not feeling 100%. So I just asked her, I was like, do you have kids? She didn't. Does the other guy have kids? No. So I was like, you know what? As a mom of 3 who had 3 kids in 3 years, or just a mom in general, like no empathy, no sympathy. No one asked me to help, like if I needed help or if there was anything they could do to help me. It was just like attack. And that's why I was more so upset. And I wasn't even yelling at her. I was just like, you know.
And I wasn't even yelling at her. You were 100% yelling at her. If you have to say the thing, you're not the thing. But also dismissing the staff and their credibility and their professionalism because they don't have kids. That's so gross. The entitlement, it's just seething out of her right now. And I don't understand how she can possibly sit here and think, I don't know, it's just wild.
Part of customer service is just like offering help. And there was none of that. It was not even informational. It was like, you can't have that people in the seat. I'm like, I really didn't even know that to begin with. And we had no issues on the flight there. So like, why is it an issue now? Honestly. And when he told me, you don't care about the safety of your kids. And I was like, that's what was the tip of the iceberg. You don't care about the safety of your kids. I don't care about the safety of my kids, bro. Like,
someone clip that. Clearly you don't, because if anything were to happen, it's life or death. So you obviously don't care about the safety of your kids when you're actively breaking safety laws. I don't think it was far-fetched for him to say that.
And that was it. Apparently I'm wild and I'm on the no-fly list. And I actually like Hawaiian Airlines. It's just the staff, I feel like they're not very like helpful or not very nice. So I went to check in for my flight this last week, and that's when we found out at 6 a.m. that we were on the no-fly list, and they had to come up to us and make sure that we weren't going to cause a scene.
So then she ends it by taking zero accountability, saying that the staff are just mean. They're just out of line. They're unhelpful. They don't understand because they don't have kids. So that was her story time, and let me tell you, the comment section did not disappoint. Everyone and their dog was saying either, why did you take your kids on an airplane with a brewing ear infection? That's dangerous, that's painful, that's irresponsible, that's negligent. 2, the flight attendants were just following protocol. They could literally lose their job. And to ask someone to bend the rules that could jeopardize their employment for you, a stranger that they don't know, why do you get special treatment? Because you're a breastfeeding mom? No, that doesn't work that way. There were 8 other adults, 8 on this flight. Nobody could walk the baby to the bathroom slowly, have him go pee, wash his hands, walk back slowly, change the scene, something. Not one of the 8 people could help out, could step in. I think that the biggest thing for me is her saying that her husband didn't even bother to read the paper. He just crumpled it up, said this is BS. That's a huge red flag for me, period. Because there's no way that he would be so standoffish and aggressive had it been this whole, back and forth, please just give me a second, whatever. Or this guy was really out to lunch and came up and was all rude and disrespectful to her. But in my opinion, I think that they were upset that they were being inconvenienced and not catered to, and that was unacceptable for them. But to sit there and be like, they didn't even offer me any help, like, that's not their job to help you. You decided to travel with 3 kids under 3 years old. This is a risk that you take traveling with 3 very small children, but you chose to do so. It's no one else's responsibility, and it's no one else's job to cater to you or bend the rules or change anything. Acting up and all the dramatics and mocking someone and going that over dramatic, they were out of line, that's to get people on her side and deflect from her wrongdoing, while amping up and adding to the dramatics of it all, trying to keep people hooked and interested. But all of this really feels like she's telling a bunch of half-truths in order to make the story time more dramatic, with her saying stuff like no one was recording or anything, no one was making this big dramatic scene, and saying all those things out loud really makes you think that that's exactly what was going on. But she probably didn't get the footage that she was hoping for because she was in the wrong. Or maybe no one was recording this, which good, because I'm sure you don't want record of this, and you better hope record doesn't surface after this attempt of a viral moment. And the whole time, it just felt like she was playing victim versus trying to seek justice or anything like that. Being banned from an airline doesn't just happen like that. It suggests that there was a big thing that happened in the cabin that led to this. She says herself that this guy was staring at her for the full 20 minutes, which means for 20 minutes and 3, maybe 4 warnings,
The 4th time,
she and her husband remained non-compliant, probably got increasingly more and more aggressive every time the flight attendant tried to approach them and say, like, no, this isn't safe. You clearly don't care about your kids' safety. Because if you did, you'd realize just how unsafe this is and that we can't. My mind is blown that her husband didn't just switch seats with the baby, but her bawling her eyes out, the attack, harassment, all these trigger words are a way to keep viewers hooked and engaged and make someone out to be the villain. On top of that, you have her mocking this man who came up to her, trying to enforce safety rules, trying to keep everyone in the cabin safe in case of an emergency, because if an emergency happens, it happens fast, without warning. And you have seconds to act, not minutes, not hours, seconds. And then on top of that, she's dragging the airline and tagging them. It's an adult temper tantrum with a hashtag attached to it. But the bigger issue at hand is that entitlement, especially on airplanes, endangers everyone involved. This isn't just about her and her putting herself and her safety at risk, driving without a seatbelt. It's about the safety of everyone on board, and being non-compliant with these safety orders is a problem. And to sit there and say that everyone was harassing you and attacking you when that wasn't the case is just disgustingly entitled. Asking for the rules to be bent because you're a tired breastfeeding mom. So why did a tired breastfeeding mom take 3 young kids to Hawaii? I understand wanting to travel with your kids, but time and place? Maybe when they're super young, it's not a good time to travel. Maybe that's a sacrifice that you have to give up as a parent. But no, they need to do it for content, for clout, for flexing their money, for liquidating their money so that they can write it off. But her resurfacing all of this and also tagging the airline 2 years later, talking down about the staff, trashing this one flight attendant, threatening to go find his name in her diary so what you can dox him and his place of work. Like, why would you need to go find his name? It's a classic display about how influencers will take anything and make it into content and ride a viral moment, even if it's not relevant or if it's harmful for other people involved, which is the definition of a clout goblin. Chasing clout no matter the consequence, no matter who gets hurt in the process. They use their platforms to dodge accountability and harm reputations of others. We've seen it time and time again with these viral story times about my makeup artist this, my hairstylist that. People are hurting people for their viral story time, for their viral moment. Oftentimes, it's a lie? What if this flight attendant gets fired because it gets traced back to him? That makeup artist that the bride washed off her makeup 5 minutes before her wedding, her reputation got hurt because of that, because people tagged her in it, or the girl I don't even know what happened there. And that was after saying that it was beautiful, that it was the best makeup she's ever had, to the makeup artist's face. That sort of stuff isn't okay. And it's toxic influencers who weaponize their platforms to hurt other people for their viral 5 minutes of fame. But at the end of the day, she's not just this entitled momfluencer, she's also an opportunistic influencer. This is the type of person who will make content out of anything, who will take a story and twist it to fit their narrative, to make themselves appear as the victim and throw other people under the bus, harming their reputations, potentially harming their jobs, or whatever. And she gets to get away with it and get paid for these potentially harmful story times. Honestly, the rise in false allegations towards small business owners is alarming and terrifying, because you, as a small business owner or a smaller creator, always have to watch your back. I couldn't imagine being a makeup artist or a hairstylist or any type of service providing industry nowadays with the toxic asshole influencers that exist. No, thank you. Because someone is butthurt, or someone changes their mind, or someone just wants a viral moment and it ruins your entire career path, your entire life. Thank goodness people are getting better at sniffing out the bullshit, sniffing out the clout goblins and the why am I seeing this? And that's why we need to keep talking about these kinds of story times and stuff like that, so that people can use their discernment and start asking and questioning, why am I seeing this? Why is this story being told? Why is this person sharing this information with me? And who can it potentially harm in the long run? These are important questions to ask when consuming content and when spending your social media currency. So, what do you think, guys? Wild, entitled story time. I saw this and I was like, yeah, we need to talk about this, because what? And for her to, like I said, be tagging and dragging and all this stuff for clout, for attention, 2 years later, what? No. All because of a viral trend that's happening right now? Ridiculous. Please remember that flight crews have a rough job. They have to enforce these safety protocols because, like I said, things can happen, and they happen fast if they do happen. It is so important to treat people with respect. She's asking for customer service while, in my opinion, likely being extremely rude and entitled to the person she's expecting customer service from. It doesn't work that way. Respect goes both ways. And if you are going to respond like an a-hole, you're going to be approached like an a-hole. And for her to try and paint herself as blacklisted for breastfeeding, that is disgusting clout goblin behavior right there. Look at me. Look how victimized I was for breastfeeding my child and being a good mom. Wild. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, wonderful, epic day wherever you are in the world. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.
3 things. Number 1, I totally understand he was doing his job. Love that for him. I'm not mad about him doing his job. I was mad about the attitude and the sass. And I was mad about the comment that he said, I don't care about the safety of my children. Like, don't ever say that to a mother, because typically the mom's gonna get upset. Okay. And I was actually cool, calm, and collected. Thank you. Number 2, I take full responsibility. I did what was best for my kids. I did what was best for me in that situation. I had an 8-month-old right here trying to breastfeed. He woke up mid-flight. They passed him to me. I was breastfeeding him. I also had my 1-year-old that had an ear infection, and both are crying. I'm trying to figure this out. I asked for 20 minutes, couldn't get 20 minutes. So at that point, if you're just going to harass me and you're going to throw a piece of paper at us, then I might as well just be non-compliant, right? And third, if Hawaiian Airlines had sent me something in the mail saying I was on their no-fly list, blacklisted, like, I would have not booked 8 tickets like 6 months ago, probably even before that. I would have just booked with someone else. Like, I planned this trip a long time ago. I like Hawaiian Airlines. Some of their staff is really nice and some of them aren't. You know, it's just like any other airline, honestly. Now, if I known I was on the no-fly list. Yeah, I just wouldn't have booked. And this time around, because I didn't know, we went to go check in at 6 in the morning, and it took them 45 minutes to even get a supervisor near us. And then they come and they're like, so there was a situation 2 years ago with an extra infant on your lap. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I already know this. Like, this is the holdup. If you emailed me, if you sent me something in the mail, then I would have just never booked with you. So now I have to sit here and get questioned by a supervisor asking if I'm going to be compliant on this plane. And on the way home, we had to go through the same thing. And they gave us, it's like they waited to the last second. And then we had to rush through TSA, rush to the gate to barely even make the flight, which is crazy. It was kind of rude, and I take full responsibility, but like, just let me know next time, because there's a bunch of flights. And like I said, I'm not mad at Hawaiian Airlines. Like, I don't hate their flights. No, I like it. They're very flexible. They're good prices. They have great times that work for me and my schedule. It's the staff. It's the way that they handled things that is upsetting. I'm not saying anything about like, oh, regulations and everything. I understand that. So I understand why you put me on the no-fly list. Next time, let a girl know so I don't try to fly with y'all again. Like, you gladly accepted my credit card for 8 tickets.
So some of the reasons why I started posting this, first, it's a trend, and I thought it was actually kind of funny. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I have as much as one speeding ticket, and that was when I was 16. I'm 35 now. And I'm on the no-fly list for Hawaiian Airlines. I don't know. It sounds a little bizarre to me. Secondly, if anyone's traveling with 2 infants, like, I had no idea this was even a rule. So I thought it would be a little informative to post it and let people know what it's actually like traveling with 2 kids that are under 2 and that you wanted to not buy a seat. Had I known this, I would have just bought them a seat. I didn't buy them a seat because we've already done that, and it didn't really seem to alleviate any like issues. But now that I have 2 infants, or had 2 infants at that time, it would have probably worked out in my favor. And this is everything. Honestly, like, next time just tell me I'm on the no-fly list. It's not a big deal, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny that I'm on like the no-fly list.